Over the last 9 years of homeschooling, I have collected quite a few books. These aren't all the books that I've read, but they're the ones I keep coming back to because each one has genuinely changed the way I think about homeschooling or family life. If you're just starting out, I don't want you to feel like you need to rush out and buy every book I'm about to show you. In fact, I would encourage you to do the opposite. Just pick one that speaks to you and start at that. The first book is Minimalist Homeschooling. This is probably the book that gave me permission to stop trying to do everything. Like so many new homeschoolers, I felt like I needed all the curriculums, all the subjects, all the activities, and honestly, it had just become too much. This book really encouraged me to pare everything down and just ask what actually mattered. Instead of trying to recreate school at home, I started creating a homeschool that actually fit our family, which was a much needed shift. This next one is Better Together. This book introduced me to the idea of morning baskets, and I absolutely loved the thought of beginning our day together rather than everyone disappearing off to do their own work. It really reminded me that relationships come before lessons. From that idea, I started creating lessons that we could all enjoy as a family, reading together, poetry, nature study, picture study, things that brought us together instead of pulling us apart. That together time has become one of my favorite parts of homeschooling. This one actually has a bit of a story. I found Wild Days in an op shop, and honestly, it came into my life at exactly the right time. I'd fallen into a bit of a homeschooling rut. We were getting through the work, but somewhere along the way, I'd forgotten why we had chosen this lifestyle in the first place. Reading this book reminded me to slow down, get outside, notice the seasons, and remember that childhood isn't a race. Sometimes the right book really does find you when you need it most. Next book is For the Children's Sake. This is my first introduction to Charlotte Mason. One of the ideas that immediately resonated with me was her belief that children are born persons. I'd always felt that children deserved respect, that they were complete people, not just adults in training. And so it was very encouraging to find someone who had put those thoughts into words so beautifully. Even if you don't follow a full Charlotte Mason education, I think this book is worth reading simply for the way it changes how you see children and also the role you have in their lives. Next is The Whole and Healthy Family. It's one that I still refer back to. I love that it looks at the whole child, not just at academics. It talks about things like nutrition, age appropriate chores, rhythms in the home, practical life skills, and all those everyday things that often get forgotten when we're focusing on schoolwork. It reminded me that raising healthy, capable, kind humans is just as important as teaching maths and reading. Next up, we have The Call of the Wild and Free. I think every homeschooler has heard of this book. One thing I really appreciated was the fact that it introduced different homeschooling philosophies without making me feel like there was only one right way. It helped me think about finding our own rhythm instead of trying to copy someone else's. I finished the book feeling really inspired rather than pressured, and I think that's a lovely quality to have in a homeschooling book. The last one is Happy Child, Happy Home. I actually borrowed this from the library first. I loved it so much that before I had to return it, I was sitting in the library car park taking photos of page after page because I wasn't ready to let it go. It was the first parenting book I'd actually ever read. Up until then, I knew how to care for babies and toddlers, but once my children were older, I realized I didn't really have a plan. Originally, they were going to go to school, so I hadn't spent much time thinking about what family life would look like when they were home with me every day. This book really helped me. I'd love to know if you've read any of these books or if there's one book that changed the way you think about homeschooling or parenting. Leave it in the comments because I'm always looking for my next read.